Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us as we discuss BMC Footprints version 12. In today's session, we're going to talk a little bit about the CMDB inside of Footprints version 12. Now, in V12 of Footprints, everything is an object. So that means everything relates to everything else. All of the tickets relate to each other. All of the addressable contacts relate to each other. It's built on a relational database using SQL, for example. So that means relationships are kind of in its blood. The CMDB, of course, and your service asset and configuration management process itself is really about using those relationships between objects, between configuration items, so that you can help make good decisions, so that you can understand how the hip bone is connected to the leg bone. You can understand how the server is connected to the switch, how the applications are installed on that server and are delivering a particular service, or any other functions you want. Or you can use those CMDBs to capture things that have nothing to do with IT, like groundskeeping equipment from my facilities department, or if I'm using it in a hospital, and Footprints is extensively used there, maybe I want to capture information about my biomedical equipment, X-ray equipment, or PET scanners, and the like. The Footprint CMDB allows me to either create my pieces of equipment manually. As you can see, I can resize the reports that I have up at the top of the screen here too, so that I can make these a little more roomy, or as we had discussed in earlier sessions, I can customize these to display any level of data that I want to. I can create my own equipment, either manually, such as I'm doing now by creating a piece of diagnostic equipment. And now I'm going to be taken into the diagnostic equipment creation screen, which gives me access to building one of those types of configuration items. Or I could manually create any of the other types that I have, right? Facilities equipment, or maybe I'm building a facilities fleet vehicle entry. I would like to have all the information about the fleet vehicle, including its model, its manufacturer, its in-service date, its vehicle identification number, any other details about it. Of course, if I'm using Footprints to maintain information about my IT infrastructure, then I can absolutely do that as well, right? Not just my diagnostic equipment or groundkeeping stuff for facilities. I can drill in and see my Cisco switch in this case, and see the record that represents my Cisco switch and the details about that switch. Now, the info that I capture here, as we showed, could be entered manually if you wish, but you can also import this information, including the relationships, so that if you have a data source that contains information about your assets that you wish to include in the CMDB, or a flat file perhaps, you can include and import any of that information directly into Footprints. Now, as I look at this switch, I can, of course, see an impact analysis and see how this switch might be related to other items in the CMDB. You can see that I have a piece of diagnostic equipment that is actually running through this switch. I also have a server that's connected to it. You can see it says connects here. If I want to view this in a little more detail, I can do a visualization that shows me a simple picture. This server is connected to this switch, and so is my PET scanner from my biomedical equipment. But if I zoom this out just one step, I want to see a little more detail, things that are connected to these other things. Footprints now shows me, hey, email is actually serviced by this server. And I have some tickets open, including a project record open against this particular server. You can see a little further down that Microsoft Exchange is running on this server. So the CMDB is designed to help me make decisions about what's running where, how is the hip bone connected to the leg bone, and what happens if this that's running has got an issue? What happens if I had a ticket that was open against this? Who do I need to call? Who do I need to contact? Or if I'm making a change in my infrastructure, how is all this stuff connected together so that if I touch this switch or this server or any of the components in this picture, what's going to happen? Right? What service is not going to work anymore? The email service isn't going to work if I make changes to these components, because the email service is dependent upon them. It's a part of that overall functionality. So the CMDB in Footprints allows me, as we said, to create those objects manually, to display the relationships between each of those items. And if I wish, and if I have access, I can simply grab the information as a part of an import. Just tell Footprints I would like to import configuration items. Use your mouse to configure the import. Is it a flat file? Am I pointing it at a SQL database, for example? point to the database itself, the view and or the table structure in that database. Tell Footprints to import that information into your CMDB, and then tell it basically what information are you going to import, right? We're going to map fields. We're going to map the data to the correct configuration item types, including the columns that might exist in my database or in my flat file. Finally, I'm going to tell Footprints, hey, do I want to repeat this? If it comes from a database, maybe I want to repeat this every week on Mondays at midnight so that I can automatically pull the data in. This means that not only can I create those configuration items directly by typing them in like a ticket or a record, but I can tell Footprints to import them from a data source so that I can more readily get the information into the configuration management database. The CMDB is a part of the Footprints suite, but Footprints is also available without the CMDB if you'd like, so you can talk to your sales representative about that capability. With that, I want to thank you for tuning into our discussion about Footprint CMDB, and we look forward to seeing you on another session.